the mic, talking day and spilling life, from trending memes to wildest dreams. Girl, did you hear that crazy thing? Girl, did you hear what's going down? We're lighting up this whole damn town. Strange and trending every week. Bestie vibes that'll never peak.
A 16-year-old girl, she came home from work one day, told her parents that she was super tired from work and she was going to bed. Dad went to check on her the next morning and she was not in her room.
She's gone.
She was gone. Bed wasn't even slept in. And she told them that her and Sheila
were growing super attached.
Yep.
They were getting fed up with Skyler because she was getting in the
Sheila
way.
was kind of like egging on Rachel to kind of like Sheila was the one that had the initial thoughts to get rid of Skyler, which is crazy. Like,
Who's doing the stabbing doesn't stop.
like there's
Like,
a lot.
wow. Why so many? You could do the job in just a few.
Yeah. Why do you think there's so many high school kids creating or like having these types of crimes?
Why not? Why? I mean, I don't think age is discriminant to violent, crazy, psychopathic tendencies. So they grew up in prison, but that doesn't mean that they can't go out and,
Be in society.
work at Sprouts and
I just feel like people that
become a
grow
crazy old
up
cat
in
lady.
prison and spend all of their life in prison, and then you come out into society, they just automatically assume that you can. How you do things in prison, you do things in society because that's just what you know. You don't know any different. Hey guys, welcome to Girl Did You Hear?
the ultimate bestie hangout. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kristen. Today is episode 80. We finally made it.
All 80 of it. There it
Only
is.
20 more. So exciting. We have another crazy one for you today. We watched Friends Like These, The Murder of Skyler Neese. This one was on Hulu. This show came out in earlier this month of March of this year.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. The story is about a 16-year-old girl, Skyler Neese, on July 6, 2012. She came home from work one day, told her parents that she was super tired from work and she was going to bed. Dad went to check on her the next morning and she was not in her room.
She's gone.
She was gone. Bed wasn't even slept in. Sad, sad story.
Yeah. Of course, she's a 16-year-old girl. So the first thing you think of is
She snuck out.
she snuck out.
Yeah, she's
Of
with her
course she did.
friends, whatever.
Well, because her dad goes to mention that he saw like the little window was open
Yes.
and there's a stool outside the window.
Yeah, and they have had problems with her sneaking out
Right,
before,
right.
like most teenagers do,
Oh, yeah.
And so dad immediately starts, telling the wife, of course, like Skylar's not in there. And she's like, what the hell? So they start calling, some of her close friends and so forth. And of course, everyone doesn't know where she is, doesn't know anything. Later on that day, he does reach out, and calls the police. It's been like almost, the 24 hours because she was supposed to go to work that next day and her work called the parents.
house, right.
Yeah. And we're like, she didn't show up, which was not like her to not show up to work. So then they started to get really worried. And that's when they brought in the police, made their 911 phone call for missing person.
Right. Because it's a tiny town. And not a lot of people
Super
go
small.
missing in this town.
This took place in Morgantown, West Virginia.
Yeah.
West Virginia itself is a small state.
Right.
Too. And so obviously the police, start their investigation. I just want to preface that they could have shortened this documentary a little bit.
It's 3 episodes and they're about an hour long an episode. And honestly, this could have been an hour and a half's worth of information. So there's a lot of fluff.
A lot of fluff. And a lot of, exaggerations and
like
extensions of
dramatizations and
same information that is just strung out in like little tiny.
It's a sad story.
It is.
It's wild how it comes together. But like, of course, the cops start going through and investigating everybody. Like they ask the parents, what were you doing the night of? They bring her best friends in, Rachel and Sheila.
Yeah. They were a little best friend trio.
A little trio that they had going on. And they're like, Yeah, well, we picked her up, but like we only drove around for half an hour and then dropped her back off at the house. So
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to her afterwards.
And they kind of stuck to that story
For
throughout.
a hot minute, right?
And everybody else, the police did have a couple other leads at one point during their investigation. They thought
What
this
year
other
was this
set
again?
of boys, 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
Which is wild because they were talking about still using the dial-up internet in 2012.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me because they were
Yeah.
talking about how, I mean, because of course, when we were 16, when we were teenagers, it was not 2012.
No,
But-
it was not 2012. It was more like
I thought these were like
2000.
our generation of like teenagers because of the way that they were talking about like
The social
dial-up
media stuff.
internet and the social media stuff, like how it was all through MySpace and then Facebook and then Twitter. Of course, that's when I knew it was a little more modern than that. But
yeah. But like,
it was
I caught that too, and I was
Where
like,
did
what?
West Virginia halt time to where
they're like, no.
they needed dial-up until 2012? Now I get it. In more rural countries and things along countries, sorry guys, counties, it is. It's harder to get access to stuff like that. So you either have to go through like satellite or Starlink or whatever's available at that time. But I thought it was wild that it was all, it almost felt like beta internet,
Yeah. And then when like they were talking about like Twitter like being like a new thing, I was like, God, that's so weird. Like I
Right.
never got into Twitter. Did you ever get into Twitter?
I didn't.
Me either, which is crazy because like a lot of people did.
Yeah.
And
Well, the way that these kids use Twitter was like a journal,
yeah.
like a little diary.
And I was like, what? Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. So they
is
like
wild.
these girls were just living their best high school
16-year-old,
selves,
right? Of course,
going
they're
out,
drinking,
partying,
smoking.
doing the thing.
Yeah.
But they would tweet everything that they were doing throughout the day.
Yeah.
Their dramas, their whatevers, their random whatever, everything.
Everything.
It was just out there. So as they were investigating, like I said, they did suspect some other friends could have been involved.
because the girls, of course,
Were going and hanging out with these boys and
Right.
partying with them and stuff like that. So they had thought at one point that maybe there was like an OD situation that was going on with her, and everyone was scared to say something because they didn't want to get in trouble, which is
Right.
very likely to believe,
And the reason why I bring up the internet is because Skyler was on the internet catfishing people.
She was.
So she's out there trying to talk to people. So they're thinking, okay, well, maybe
She had like a fake profile and stuff.
they like scooped her up.
Mhm.
Like there's a whole like alter ego.
That she had going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yes, they thought about that. And then in their apartment complex, that was like black and white.
There was a
a
security
car
camera.
Yeah. And
or-
there was a car that showed that Skylar got into, and then that was it.
Yeah, it's like after she got dropped off by Rachel and Sheila after midnight. I think it was like a couple hours later, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. She gets back in another car, like you can see was supposedly her getting into this car, but the footage was so trashed that they couldn't tell really what kind of car it was or license
it's
plate.
a sedan.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
like
they knew.
it's something,
A
right?
light colored sedan.
Right.
So
So that's where they like really leave us in the investigation, right? Because they're like, okay, we've got this grainy ass footage from the apartment complex, but that's really it. And then they start to dive in a lot into more of the dynamic of
the girls, and a lot of the things that were kind of happening with them. And obviously, like with girls, and especially in high school, with any friend group, especially a trio, unfortunately
it's a third wheel
like there is
situation.
always one that feels like the third wheel. And
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that in times of like middle school, high school, of my friend groups, even like in like I had a group of like 5 and there was always like 3 and 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like sometimes like that third one would come over here. And then like it was just like, it's just a weird dynamic that happens, but there is always someone at some point who feels
Kinda
left
gets
out.
broken off.
Yeah. And gets like pushed out or feels some type of way, that's not good. And a lot of other people kind of come into play, like classmates and their peers and stuff, and kind of give little testimonies about them individually that they were friends with, and like what they observed from them as the trio and as the friends. And a lot of people didn't have like horrible things really to say about any of them. They were all very well liked, like they seemed like they vibed pretty well together when they weren't dealing with their dramas,
Yeah.
Typical high school stuff.
I mean, these are like 16-year-old girls in high school. I was a dramatic little 16-year-old girl in high school as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was not
Yeah.
immune to this.
No, not at all. So the investigation's going on for a while. And they're not really getting anywhere.
They can't find her. They haven't heard anything
find her
from her. They've had like random like sightings, that's the word, pop up to where like, oh, she's over here, she's in Florida,
I saw her there.
She's, like crazy stuff, and none of it ever comes to fruition.
No, because the FBI picked up this case pretty quickly because
the situation's so small.
The situation, or the town is so small, and there's not a lot of missing person cases from that town. So the FBI is like, whoop, I'm going to swoop in. They start investigating and kind of re-interviewing everybody, and looking at the other stuff that the police have already had. It's a lot of the same stuff kind of regurgitated that they kind of did, but you have to, because they have to kind of start at square one and then work their whole way up,
Right.
And in interviewing Rachel and Sheila, their stories kept like aligning, but there were some weird things that would pop up, but then they couldn't like
some discrepancies.
Yeah, there was like a discrepancy with it. So then like it didn't really like, it wasn't like a matter of fact thing. They couldn't like pin it on them.
Yeah.
But they didn't have theories that they did it. They had theories that
Sheila and Rachel weren't suspects.
No, they just felt like they knew more than what they were
divulging.
Yes, exactly. And so they just kept pressing them, trying to get this information out of them, and they failed miserably.
Well, the cops kept and this is such a great way to catch people in something. I'd never really thought about this until we started watching these crime documentaries. Is like you stop going, there goes all my words. You go in and you start asking people the same questions, right?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. And then you get them to tell the same story over and over and over again. And then eventually they'll stop telling the same story over and over and over again, and little details will change.
Yes.
And things will start.
And they're like, no, 3 interviews ago you said this, and now you're saying this.
And right. So they kept drilling down on the girls to try and get like exact details, and the girls couldn't give it to them.
No, not at all. It wasn't until the FBI was finally able to get the subpoenas for their like cell phone records and stuff.
Which is the other thing that's crazy to me, because this is 2012.
Why does it take so long?
Did you have to go to AT&T and like, hey, AT&T, I have these phone numbers here. Can you please give me the information for them? Thank you.
Well, yes.
And then you have to sit in AT&T's lobby for the 7 to 10 business days it takes them to get you the stuff back. And then you have to walk back to wherever, West Virginia, from AT&T.
Yeah, like
that's
it
how
was
it
like
felt.
dinosaur.
It's like, where are they? They're only in West Virginia. I didn't think that they were in like the middle of nowhere, but maybe they are. Maybe they are. I've never been there. Sorry.
I mean, I don't know either, but it did seem like it took a long time.
Yeah.
And I've noticed
they even admitted that it took a long time.
Yeah, and I've noticed that in other documentaries that we've watched. Like whenever they have to subpoena for cell phone records, why does it take so long to get? We need to figure that out.
Probably because there's a ton of information. I don't think it's as easy as just like,
I know
pulling that information. I'm
ADHD
sure there's
side quest real quick. There was a situation that happened years ago. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was something with like one of our phones, and we were trying to like prove something that had happened or something like that. And I remember asking, I think at the time we had AT&T, ironically. And I remember asking them like, well, what could I do to get my cell phone records? Like my own records. And they're like, well, we would need something from the court saying like that you would need it for like this other phone on your line or whatever. And I was like, for that?
Dang, you have to subpoena your own records?
Essentially, yeah. Like, and so like, I know that it is probably a process, but like coming from the FBI, like it shouldn't be that
They should have
long.
we should have to fill out a long form to get that information. They should only have to fill out like a short form to get that information. You know what I'm saying?
Like it should be like within,
But, like,
within a week, maybe. I feel like.
I mean, I think we're out of touch on how long it actually takes to get this information.
Maybe we should. I'm gonna research that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into that because that is something that comes up all the time, and I'm like, why?
Why?
It's annoying. So they did end up getting that information, and when they found that, they were like, oh snap, this is interesting because some more things were coming up that weren't adding up to the stories that they were saying.
Right.
And also they grabbed both of their phones essentially at the same time. They're like, they had to confiscate both their phones at the same time from school.
Right.
They went to the school after they got all of the shit they needed or whatever and was able to get their phones from them at the same time so that neither one of them had a chance to like delete anything. Like
That hadn't already been deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Because this had been going on for months. Like
Yeah.
they made it to Christmas. This is like 6 months in.
Yeah.
And they're finally getting the cell phones from the girls.
Yeah. And
Because they
even
spent
the dad,
a lot of time looking at like other possibilities, like strangers from the internet, these boys at school that they were like heavy, like one had a brother that was like a big drug dealer guy, so they were like really heavy into him because he
had a record and
yeah, and then of course like
nothing
he
happened
came
with
up
that.
dry
Yeah.
from that, and then of course it takes a fortnight and a half to get cell phone records pulled, and then we start to see just how great of friends
these ones are.
these three are.
Yeah, which is crazy. So what kind of starts to unravel once they get the records is that there's a lot of Skyler feeling like the third wheel.
Yeah, Rachel and Sheila.
And Rachel and Sheila are really, really close.
Really
Yes.
really close. Like
They even
really close. You know, I mean, everybody goes through that phase. But like they said it was destructive, toxic.
Yeah.
It was a bad relationship
Yeah.
for them both to be, and they like fed off of each other.
Yeah. Like their personalities just were like, you know,
Yeah.
fire and fire.
Well, I mean,
you know?
they even like made Skyler like document their excursions, and
Yeah.
it was wild. I mean, and then you start to see these three girls tear each other apart
Yeah.
in the socials.
On social media, they're tearing each other apart. Whenever something would happen, or like one of the girls would get upset about something and she would try to express, you know, her upsetness to the others, they would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking bitch, you know, and just
Right.
saying like really shitty things, like not like how a friend
Well,
should
and, like,
react.
Rachel and Sheila would go off and would call each other and be like, hey, let's dress in white and blue today, and then not tell
Skyler, yeah, and little things like that, or like they would make plans like on their own and like not invite Skyler, you know, which is
Right.
shitty, you know, like that is shitty to happen. Even though it does happen, like it's just shitty.
It
It's
is.
a shitty thing,
Well,
and
I mean,
it sucks to be on the
it's catty.
receiving
It's
end of that.
So catty,
Especially when it is coming like from an intentional way,
Right,
like in the way that
right.
they were doing
from
it.
people who you thought were your friends.
Yeah.
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 And so throughout the documentary, they have like little narrations of Skyler expressing her feelings, like little diary
Entries or Twitter entries or whatever.
something. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff that she shares in there,
Yeah.
you know, about things that are making her upset, and kind of like you, excuse me, you can kind of see, I was trying to get to like a spot that I could like
Don't die on
grab
me.
the water. You can kind of definitely like see where her mental state is.
Yeah, she's falling apart.
She's mentally just like not well with the situation. You know, she's super
No,
emotional.
her two best
and, like,
friends are basically telling her to go fuck herself.
Yeah, and she's like doesn't know how to handle this, and it's just a lot for her, especially at 16. Like when you're a teenager, everything is like this big,
So much.
and it's all at once.
It's
like
very emotionally expensive to be 16.
Yeah. it is. It's hard. It is hard, especially a 16-year-old girl. And so 6 months down the road, you know, we've
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming, you know, there's still no sign of Skyler. There's still just all of this talk among the school and the peers too, because they're the school also and their friends have like created a whole division between themselves, because you have like some people that are on like Team Skyler and some people that are on like Rachel and Sheila, of like trying to figure out and like their own
like
theories of like what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I can't imagine like that the school vibe was probably not that great either.
Especially considering how small everything is.
And everyone knows everyone there.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's super close niche type of place. Finally, though, we get to a point where Rachel, she goes in for an interview with a polygraph guy, the detective, and she failed that test. And there was a point in the conversation that the polygraph guy, I didn't catch his name. That's his name.
Polygraph guy.
Where he was basically telling Rachel, like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like his approach to it was kind of interesting, you know, in the way that he, like, I hadn't seen that type of polygraph guy in the previous shows that we've watched, like that type of demeanor, you know? And he was just like really like cool, calm, and laid back about it, and was just like, you know, like, I don't believe your story. Like, this is what is showing on my readings and blah, 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 blah. Right. And so, she leaves the whatever, you know, that interview, that discussion with him. And then there's another point where like she agrees to come back in for like another conversation. And at that point, she then starts confessing to the polygraph guy. And he starts asking her questions like, well, did Skyler OD? And she was like, no. And he's like, did someone else kill her? No. He's asking all these questions and she's just answering no. And then he says, like, you could see like it, like she like took a big pause and then she just said,
We stabbed her.
yeah. Just like that. And he also had said, like, before she started saying all those things, like when she made the choice to come back around and talk to him, it was a different Rachel that they had seen.
Right. Because the first one was like so nonchalant. She's like, why am I even here? What are you doing?
And that's how all of her other interviews have been.
Yes, no. And I'm sure it just got to her.
Yeah. And she couldn't take it anymore. So she confessed everything from that point on. Ooh-wee. And she told them that her and Sheila
were growing super attached. They were getting fed up with Skyler because she was getting in the
Sheila
way.
Was kind of like egging on Rachel to kind of like Sheila was the one that had the initial thoughts to get rid of Skyler, which is crazy. Like, could you imagine if me, you, and someone else, like we had a trio going on, right? And I was like, yo, Jessica, this fucking bitch over here.
I was like, this girl, we got to let her go.
We got to get her out of here. Like, we got to her. We got to unalive her. Like, we got to delete her from this space. Like, she's going out.
She's got to go. She's got to go.
And we can't just tell her, nope, sorry, we don't want to be your friend
I don't want to be your friend anymore, because that would be the humane way to do it.
Just going to go stab her.
We're just going to go stab her a bunch of times.
Like, are you kidding me?
That's insane.
Like, that's a hormonal rage moment right there. Like, I feel like that is like teenage angst. Just like emotions are too high, too big to even control even the slightest. That is an impulsive thing that someone like, yeah, she had the thought, like the seed was planted in Sheila's brain I'm talking about, you know, like she had those thoughts, but like those thoughts, like they've got to come from somewhere. Right. You know what I mean? And like, it just seemed like like once the news comes out, like it starts to seem like that Sheila was really kind of fucked up, like on a deeper level. Yeah. You know, like she's got some shit.
Yeah. She's got Robin in her clutches. Like, honestly, I mean, they pin it on each other as like who's really the ringleader, but like I see what you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Rachel confesses. Sheila is not aware of the confession. Nope. She is not aware at all.
It's fun when they do this to you.
Yeah. And so the cops are like, hey, Rachel, do you think you can get Sheila? Like, on a recorded phone call
Right,
or whatever.
a recorded conversation somehow.
Yeah. Admitting to or talking about or whatever, right? So they set up like a little video.
A little sting operation.
And Rachel gets Sheila to come over, and she doesn't say anything like specifically incriminating, but she definitely indicates that she was a part of something that happened to Skyler.
Right.
Like in specific things that she was saying. She was like,
Right.
She's like trying
Making
to
sure that
reassure,
she didn't tell the FBI a different story.
and trying to tell Rachel that like we've made it 6 months, like just a little longer,
Right.
you know, like
Right.
things like that. And so once the cops heard that from Sheila, they were like, all right, like we can work with that.
Right. It's not
You know,
enough. It's
not
like
a-
not enough to like put her in
jail. Like they didn't arrest her right away off of that. And still at this point, Sheila didn't know that she was being watched at that moment.
Right, that Rachel had flipped.
Yeah. And so Rachel was kind of playing it cool for a little bit while they were building their case against Sheila. Because the girls had not, at this point, like when the news came out, like everybody was kind of going crazy.
Yeah.
Eventually, when the news came out publicly, when both of them got arrested.
right.
But leading up to Sheila's arrest, they were kind of banking on the jury like just believing Rachel's story in that Sheila was a part of it.
Right.
And they're like, no, we can't just bank on that.
Right.
You know, that's too willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You know, especially like that's just too big of a chance.
And her too.
Yeah.
That's
and,
what it feels like. Like, here's this big old long, sad, tragic story. Oh yeah. And she also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like, no, we got to figure something out. So they go get a warrant for Sheila's car.
Right.
Because they've confirmed now through the text messages and all their investigation that the car that picked up Skyler that night that they saw on the video.
On the second round.
Yes,
Yeah.
was
Sheila's car.
Correct. And Skyler got in it and then never came back.
Right.
And so they did a thorough search on Sheila's car and then found
DNA
from Skyler. So then they were able...
Skylar's DNA would be in her car anyways because they were besties.
Yeah, but they found blood specifically in there. And I think that's what they tested. Because then during Rachel's confession, she even told the FBI, she's like, I can take you to where they put the body.
No, where we put it.
Yes. And so, which was fucked up. So, okay, first of all, they were in West Virginia. Okay. So the story is that Rachel and Sheila went and picked up Skyler.
After they had dropped her off.
Yeah. They picked her up again. And they were just joyriding around, smoking or whatever. You know, they went from West Virginia to Pennsylvania. Like, I'm sorry. Did Skyler not pick up on the weird fucking vibes from Sheila and Rachel that they were going to kill her that night?
I don't know. Maybe they were good actresses.
Because, like, I don't know, man. That's crazy that, like, Skyler had no... Like, why would they be joyriding around to Pennsylvania? Like, I don't know how far Morgantown is from wherever she was in Pennsylvania. And I know a lot of those, like, East Coast states are, like, pretty close together. You can drive through, like,
really
5 of
tight
them
knit.
in,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
6 hours,
Well, they
you know?
probably had,
but,
like, you know, the party or the
whatever
party
story
spot
they
was
were
in, like, a
they had
different...
told Skyler or something,
it was in
you know?
a different
They had
state or whatever.
They had something going on to make her not think anything was going on.
Right.
They get out to this remote area in
Oh, it's
Pennsylvania.
called trust.
Oh yeah, that. Oh, that happens
Skylar
like when you're friends with
trusted
people.
her best friends, even though they were going through some shit.
Yeah, she still is like,
She's still like,
"They're my
all right,
friends."
I'll ride with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And
So they get to this like pull off area, and Skylar like is walking ahead to wherever, and then Sheila and Rachel just jump her and start stabbing her.
They counted down together and then was like, on 3,
and then just started jumping
just
her.
stabbed her in the back.
Yeah. And then like, okay, not just like a couple times, guys.
No.
58
This is
times.
crazy. I mean, this is the third one in a row we've had
58
where like
times.
the person who's doing the stabbing doesn't stop.
Like there's
like
a lot.
Wow. Why so many? You could do the job in just a few.
Yeah. Like bad.
I wouldn't know. But I'm only just assuming from like, physics and the understanding
The
of my
anatomy.
own meat sack that it would take just a few holes in this balloon to pop it,
Yeah, yeah.
But so many times.
So many times. And then they, as they were trying to dispose of the body, they realized they couldn't pick her up.
They got lazy. They had enough energy and passion to get out 58 times or how many ever times
they
between
used
the two
all
of
their
them.
energy.
But they could not expel any more energy
to do that.
to dispose of her appropriately.
So they drag her off wherever.
Yeah, and just like
and push her up,
stuffed her
like
in the bushes and
put her like a part of the foliage, which is so sad. So as she's taking the FBI agents to the location, as Jessica said earlier, like when they get there, the FBI agent is like, he's like, as we were getting there, you could hear her voice like got excited almost, and she was like, stop. She's like, it's right over there.
Yeah, it's like it's just not her.
What?
It's not Skyler. It's not.
She's over there.
Yeah,
like it's it, which is fucked up.
They were broken.
They were. So eventually they do end up arresting Sheila.
Yep.
And then all hell breaks loose at school because everyone's like, what the fuck?
I mean, you have to assume like some kids in the school kind of knew. There had to have been something.
Yeah. Like I'm sure people had a suspicion,
right?
But they also couldn't pin it on them. You know what I mean?
Their stories stayed consistent.
Yeah, of course. And like throughout the entire investigation, like Sheila especially was out just like living her normal life.
Yeah.
And Rachel's like, I can't do this.
Chewed up inside.
She's like, I can't do this. So eventually they do go to trial, obviously, and they are tried as adults, and which is good. Kudos to that judge. Thank you for that. I feel like anybody that does shit like that as a minor
so many times
should be tried as an adult. 100%.
Times.
Like that is not like a oopsies.
It's not
I'm
an
sorry.
accident.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was in a bad mental state. Like, yeah, maybe if you stabbed her like once and she lived is like a
once or twice or three times and then she
died.
died.
Fuck, I had a mentee B breakdown. Like, let me go to the mental hospital, like
went blind.
But like they had a plan and they acted on it.
Yeah, they did. That's the thing that kills me is that they had a plan.
Another set of high school
kids with a plan
to
stab somebody.
Yeah, multiple
to
times.
the point of unaliving.
Yeah.
Wild. Why are teenagers? But they're not like if you think about it, since this was back in 2012, those people ain't teenagers anymore.
They're adults now.
They're adults now.
Yeah. I wonder how they feel now about like the documentary coming out.
Right.
I'm sure there'll probably be one that would include them at some point. Maybe.
Well, they
maybe
got
not.
Rachel to talk over the phone.
Yeah. And I was thinking of the other episode that we did with those two guys.
Oh, yeah.
That got arrested and like they had their interviews or whatever too.
The Scream documentary.
Mm-hmm. So Rachel did end up pleading guilty to second-degree murder. She pled guilty on May 1st, 2013. So
dang quick.
Yeah. She
compared to some of the other trials we've listened to, that one went down
July
fast.
6th, 2012, and then she pled guilty on May 1st, 2013. So that is pretty quick. She was sentenced to 30 years with parole after 10. Or she becomes eligible for possibly to get parole.
Right.
That's not a guarantee.
Right.
Sheila, it took a little bit longer for her. She got sentenced in January 24th, 2014.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit longer for her. She got sentenced life.
With possible parole after 15 years.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And also, like, they showed some footage of Sheila in the courtroom, and I was not okay.
And her, like, snide little smirk.
I was not okay with her entrance and her whole demeanor in the courtroom. Like, she walked in there, like, with this little smirky,
those
like...
bailiffs after she got sentenced.
That's my favorite part.
Yes.
It's my favorite part.
Oh my gosh.
And like the dad of Skyler, like when he was in the courtroom too, he was like, he said in the documentary, like, I just wanted to jump over there and kill her myself.
Which is, I mean, explainable,
And
but you can't
I think
do
he
that.
said something like that or along those lines in the courtroom. And that bailiff looked at him and was like, I understand you and I would want to do that too, but you can't do that in here.
Right. You can't.
He's like, we don't need any of
Not
that.
in here,
He's
bro.
like, make a good choice right now. Make a good choice. And
Think about where you are, Dan.
Yes. And then so like after Sheila got sentenced, they were like, well, can she come into like the private room, whatever, and say goodbye to her parents? And the bailiff said no.
No.
He was like, and I was like, damn. I was
Skyler
like, I
never
didn't
got that
know-
opportunity to tell her parents
Yes.
goodbye.
And I didn't know that was up to the bailiff. So I didn't know that he could make decisions
maybe
like
in
that.
the one situation it is. Maybe not.
I don't know. But
I mean,
that was cool as fuck. I was
yeah.
like, thank you.
Was he sitting next to a twin? Who was that dude who looked exactly
I don't know.
like him?
It was. It did look exactly like him.
I'm like, oh, that's
So
cool. You got
wild.
your twin brother to be a bailiff too. What the fuck?
In the same courtroom.
Right, for the same case. Do they do that?
I don't know. So
Or it was just like a mirror that was next to him. I don't know.
it was wild. But yeah, that's basically, that's how everything ended on that show. And, thankfully the family was able to get some closure to the situation because I'm sure that always is helpful.
Yeah.
In healing and so forth.
They're not still thinking that she's just missing.
Yeah. And they were able to get Skylar's body after all the snow melt happened. Right? Did they not get her body?
No, they did. They
Oh,
did.
okay.
You're right, because they left her there
Yeah.
because they weren't just going to go digging around in the snow. They left her there for like a hot second
Until all the snow melted.
until it was easier for them to like
Which I get. Because they were like, they didn't want to damage
Right.
something.
They didn't want to ruin the rest of the crime scene. 'Cause
Yes.
They only just figured out kind of where it was.
Right.
Yeah.
But like after the fact, they had like a whole like little memorial for her, and like the school was kind of talking about like when graduation came, and stuff like that. And like it was cool to see like how many people were there supporting her and, went to and like created that nice space for her to be remembered by, as shitty of a way that she, left this world. Like I enjoy seeing when people go out of their way to do like those big memorials for people,
Right.
It's just nice. Fucked up story though. I can't with these high school kids.
I giggled to myself when the investigators were like, we were so out of touch with social media. This was our first time in social media too. We were learning how to use social media with this case.
were.
And I'm like, it is 2012.
Yeah, like,
where are we?
get-
Oh yeah, small town West Virginia. I'm sorry, I have nothing against West Virginia. Again, I've never been there, but why? Why does it feel like they're stuck a decade and a half behind?
I don't know.
Is it just because we're close to a big city, so therefore we're granted with technologies?
I don't know.
But
That's wild.
I grew up in a little town just on the other side of the mountain here, and we still
Yeah,
had
and like I'm
internet
thinking-
at the right time. And
Yeah,
I mean-
2012. I'm like, okay. Yeah, like there was an established social media
right,
for a few years prior to 2012.
2012 was like baby Facebook.
Yeah. Well, 2009 there was Facebook.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Facebook had only been up for a couple years.
Yeah. Wild.
Dude.
So, okay. I have a question.
Mm.
Why do you think there's so many high school kids creating or like having these types of crimes?
Why not? Why? I mean, I don't think age is discriminant to violent, crazy, psychopathic tendencies.
No. But do you think that like over the span of the last 20 years that there's been more juvenile, like high school killing cases than, I don't want to say more than adults because obviously not, but more
here's the
than
issue,
like
though, because we're
previous
focusing
years.
in on them, like super fixating as well, because we're like picking these out specifically. So over the scheme of things, like if I were to take a baseline of say pre-Columbine
Yeah.
to now, do I feel like there's a bunch of teenagers running around murdering people? Yeah, probably because the news is telling me about it.
Right.
But like, why do I feel it's this way? Probably because our videos and our media and everything
All
we
of
have
the thing
access
that
to
we're consuming
have gotten kind of graphic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, it just really rolls back to that whole don't sit in front of that box, it'll rot your brain. And I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
we were
curiosity kills the
exposed.
cat.
We were exposed to so much of that stuff. I mean, I even remember as a teenager coming up that, like, as I mentioned in a previous episode, like rotten.com was really popular with us as kids. And that was a nasty website.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a website of gore.
Yeah.
And
you could literally go on there and look
just
at
find somebody beheaded.
gory. Yeah.
It's not good stuff, man. It's not anything any teenager.
And you didn't need like a click here, like enter your birthday or anything.
You just walked right in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
remember
think
being
a lot of
in,
our
like-
movies were very violent, not like violent, but like almost violent and explicit aren't the right words. We were really into like details and making sure things were like extra sensory and just giving you the full immersion of whatever's happening. And like, I think a lot of it is just kind of we opened everybody's eyes up to the true depravity of human beings as time and technology got easier and more and more accessible. And it just became, it stopped becoming a depravity and just became normal. It just became something that we all were kind of adjusted to, desensitized to almost, just to where like the thought of murdering a friend is something that you could feasibly conceive. Right. Because, we had these boys in a couple episodes back who were like, loved or not loved, but like idolized the Columbine shooters and wanted to like aspire to be like them. So I feel like it was cool to be bad. It's always cool to be bad. It's like, oh, smoking's bad for you, but smoking looks so cool. Right. But it's like, it's one of, I think it's like that narrative, like it's taboo, it's bad. It's something that, I mean, even I as a teenager was drawn to clearly. Cause I do kind of have a gruesome, gross sense of humor. And I think a lot of it, I mean, not sense of humor, but kind of, I'm into that sort of stuff. And I think a lot of that was just because I, was interested in it as a kid and I wanted to be a mortician and I wanted all of these like really kind of like dark things. And it's just because it was available to me on the internet. Now, 20, 30 years prior to me, was that available to our teens? No, it wasn't. So they had to learn and absorb all of the world's depravities through TV and encyclopedia and war stories from their grandfathers. So it wasn't as overstimulating as it is for us now. Yeah. Because I'm so happy that we can't get smell-o-vision in some of these horror flicks because like just the graphics are so graphic sometimes.
Some of them are.
And you're like, why? Like, I think it was right around Halloween time. I did a Saw series binge. So I went from like the first Saw movie all the way through, I think it's like 10 or 11. I can't remember.
Oh my God. Is there really that many?
Yes, man. There
oh my
is.
God. I think I stopped after the third one.
And I remember kind of like not growing up with these movies, but growing.
No, I love those movies, but like
year,
I can't get on board once they get up to like past
10?
3. I'm like, no.
And I mean, and those were like the movies of our time. Yeah. And they're gory. They're gory AF.
And they were so popular when they came out.
And they were so popular when they came out. And, I mean,
and like the mind fuck that comes along with the gore. You're like, what the fuck?
No, are you kidding me? Like the torture story that John has throughout that whole narrative is just, I mean, I understand there's like an altruistic line through it, but there's not. And it's just a whole movie series that we coveted so much about this dude just running around, scooping people up and popping off their heads. Like it's not even the Little Bunny Foo-Foo story.
Right.
It's do you want to play a game?
No, thank you.
No, me neither. And I mean, but it was like, it was almost cool to be that depraved. So I can see why like
people, but like
a mind that is easily influenced and has not seen the true real yuckiness of the world and
Yeah.
has only been on this planet for
It's just
umpteen
fucking
years.
wild. Like 16 years old and like as a female, like not to say that like females can't do things,
Clearly we can.
but like most of the time it's a male.
And I mean, and I think
You
a lot
know.
of the time they were scared that Skyler was going to out him.
Yeah.
They were scared that like Skyler was going to go through and like tell everybody that
About their little love story.
about their little nasty little
because
love
I
story.
forget which one it was. I don't know if it was Sheila or Rachel, but one of them was very religious.
Rachel.
And she felt that if she did come out, that her family
Was going
it
to
would
disown
be
her.
shunned. She was Catholic or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a thing. But yeah, Skylar had kept like threatening, you know, on social
That
media.
she's going to expose them.
Yeah.
Right. So,
And
and I mean,
so-
and I get it. Like, they don't want their secret exposed. They don't want their stuff out there. So they just need to eliminate, you know.
Yeah. That's just wild. Like, they're just like, Sheila, like, they're just hanging out. And Sheila's like, hey, man, yeah, we got to get rid of Skylar. I got the knives and I got this and I got that. Like, what are you going to bring? And then Rachel's like, well, I got this, this, and this. And they're like, all right,
The
bet.
Clorox wipes and the extra change of clothes. I don't know, dude.
Wild shit, man.
It's, I mean, and they aren't even fully snapped yet. They're only 16. Like,
Yeah.
all the emotions are big.
Super big. I was just trying to do math to see how old they are now. And I can't do quick math. So
No, I can't either.
hang
So
on.
enjoy
Numbers
those
are
facts,
hard.
folks.
Do, do,
Numbers
do,
are
do. Let's see. 2024. So they're not even 30 years old yet in jail right now. 28.
Okay, so how many years has it been? So they've been possibly out on parole at this point.
I don't think either of them got
Parole?
yet.
Wild.
I think one of them at the end it showed like a little clip of like one of them tried to like appeal, you know, get their parole and it was turned down.
Yeah, they stabbed their best friend. It should be turned down.
Yeah, exactly. And you admitted to it.
Well, and I mean, okay, so here's the context of the conversation of the last one we did where the kids are in trouble and now they're in jail for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can they be reformed? Because they were children when they took their friend's life, but now they're adults. Have they changed?
But like, okay, I was thinking about this because yes, naturally you hope that people change and evolve and grow and their mindsets grow and their perspectives change and all of this
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a
right?
lot of stuff that I don't
But
do anymore that I did when I was 16.
They have learned to live life within jail and prison. They went from being 16 thrown into jail and prison. They had zero experience in the real life world. Zero
You think
experience.
Prison, I mean, prison's pretty real.
No, I know prison is pretty real, but it is.
But I see what you're saying. It's not like
completely
normal
different
society.
than normal
Yeah.
society.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So then taking someone who has been in prison their entire formative years and adult years
Mm-hmm.
and then throwing them out of prison in their 40s or 50s to start a fucking life in a society that they have no idea how to exist in. Yeah, get fucked. I don't think so.
Okay, but hear me out.
I don't think people can
Hear
do
me out,
that.
hear me out.
They are going to have a
what's
fucking
the point of
psychotic
prison?
break.
Isn't the whole point of prison to help indoctrinate these people back into our society? I mean, I get it.
Not if
Prison
they
makes
fucking
better
murder people and
criminals,
stab
but
people
like, the
72
whole
times.
point of this institution is to suck the taxpayers dry of all their dollars and try to reinstitutionalize the people inside.
Yes,
So that
and there
one
are-
day, eventually, maybe, if they're good by
Yeah.
these standards, they can be released back into normal society. Now I get it. Prison's not the best place to hire someone. I wouldn't go in there and be like, I trust you to handle this money bag with me. Let's do it. No,
Right.
I wouldn't. No, I'm not going to job source from there. But I mean, that's the whole point of prison, isn't it?
No, it is. It is.
So like,
and I hear you.
They're not. So they grew up in prison, but that doesn't mean that they can't go out and
be in society.
work at Sprouts and
I just feel like people that
Become a
grow
crazy old
up
cat
in
lady.
prison and spend all of their life in prison, and then you come out into society, they just automatically assume that you can how you do things in prison, you do things in society, because that's just what you know. You don't know any different. Yes, there's common sense things and stuff like that. And I'm not saying like they're just like, they don't just boot you out and they're like, good luck to you, you know, like they put you in a halfway house and you have to go through like all these like processes to like try to like stay on track so you can get adjusted to society
and get a job and like have your own apartment
and all of that
and
like,
become an independent person.
Yes.
And gain all the
I just
freedoms
don't
that
think-
you didn't have while you were incarcerated.
I just don't think the amount of people that spend their entire life in prison are successful human beings.
Okay,
or
now, entire
hold on.
life is like a long draw. You have to finite it down to.
I'm talking
is
about
it
like
they're
these
half of their
kids.
life.
I'm
Well, they
talking-
were they were
16,
sentenced for their lives, but
and those boys
they're 30
that
now.
are in their 30s.
But that's not their entire life. I mean, if their entire life
That's
is
a
30,
pretty
girl, we're fucked.
substantial. But that's a pretty substantial point of your life. Imagine if you went to jail at 16 and you were in prison and you didn't get released until you were 50. Let's just say 50 is the number.
Okay.
And now
then
you're
what?
50 years old trying to figure out how to fucking be a human in society
Yeah.
after you just spent all of your life in prison with these fucking shitbags over here. Like,
Thank you for letting me go.
I just don't think that the amount of people that spend a good portion of their life in jail end up transitioning into society very well and becoming productive human beings and having good lives after that. That's just my opinion. I just don't think that that is very possible in most people. I just don't think that is.
That's fair. Those are your thoughts.
Yeah. And I
Have fun with those. I
just
hope
don't
you
think it
don't meet a
is.
lot of people who have been released from prison and then have had great successful lives.
Well, I mean, if those people are out there, I'd love to hear their stories because I'm all
If
about
those people are out there, those people
successful-
are out there everywhere, dude.
Well, we should talk about one of them. We should find a story and talk about it. 'Cause I think that would be interesting.
You think that would? Okay, I'll help you find some
It would be interesting.
because there's tons, babes. There's tons.
I'm not saying
The
that. I'm not saying that
whole
there's
point of
not.
prison is to
I'm not saying
make
that there's not.
people better. It's a punishment.
Yes.
They get put in there to learn a lesson.
Yes. Understood.
So that way, when they're done learning the lesson,
Yeah.
they get to go play with the rest of the kids.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just saying.
Regardless of how long they had to learn the lesson, it's not like the world doesn't stop worlding while they're in prison.
Obviously not.
Clearly, they're going to have to adjust
Yes.
to all the new things that they didn't have while they were incarcerated. But that doesn't mean that okay, we go to prison because we murdered this mysterious friend that we didn't want to do. So you're saying if you were 16 years old and you were incarcerated and you were put in the prison system from 16 to 30, that if they let you out at 50, you just couldn't hang. You wouldn't be able to figure out how to get into society.
I would hope that I would be able to. I'm saying
No,
that
I'm talking about you specifically. So you, with all of your
I
facilities.
hope that I would, if I knew like how my brain is now and how I am just as a person, because at 16, you don't know who the fuck you are.
No.
But as an adult, you start to understand how you are, how you deal with things, and that whether you're in prison or not in prison.
Right.
Those are just natural things that occur and happen as part of growth, right?
Right.
But at 16, like you're being like, though, like 16 to 25 are very formative years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that a lot of people have the ability to have that switch. I don't think that a lot of people have the ability. Yes, I agree. Prison should be there to reform people and teach people a lesson. I don't think people relearn. I don't think people learn the lesson because there's repeat offenders all the fucking time.
All right. There you go.
You know what I mean? So like, but I am saying, yes, there probably are people that get released from prison and have great success stories. That's inevitable. Like, yes, obviously it's going to happen to some
I get
people.
it. There's odds.
But I feel like the vast majority of people that get released from prison that have served like a distinct amount of time probably don't have a substantial life in society.
Okay. So let's take prison out of the picture. We're taking prison out of the picture, folks.
Oh, God.
Let's say that you were born and raised in a small third world country. This is not prison, folks. This is just where you were born and raised.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you have an opportunity at 50, because that's what we decided, to come to America and be a part of American society. Do you think they would drown, or do you think they would survive and adapt?
I mean, yeah, obviously they would probably adapt, but not everybody is capable of adapting to their environment is just what I'm saying. Like, people are like, you can throw anybody from one situation to another and they're either going to adapt or they won't, plain and simple.
So how is prison any different?
It's not. I'm saying that I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying that there are people that can adapt to society outside of jail, and there are prison that people that
But you're
can't.
saying people can't adapt to society outside of prison if they've been in prison for this amount of time.
I think that if people are in prison for a pretty long duration of their adult years, I think they have a harder time adapting and most likely struggle probably the most. And I think a lot of them, like, I just think that if you looked at like statistics or a percentage, and I could be completely wrong, I have no fucking idea. I'm just guessing. I just feel like the ratio would be different. It would be a higher number than what people that are successful.
We are now, I understand. You are correct. We are not talking about people of the church here. We're talking about prisoners. So the amount of people going back because they did something bad is most likely really pretty high, because that's what they do. That's where the bad people go. That's where we put them.
And a lot of those bad people that have like these recurring, charges.
These were not recurring charges.
No, they were not. They were not.
They were like,
then we need
a couple
to look
stabs
at,
and done.
We should look at
and
information.
You're
though.
like, these bitches can't make it out here because they've been in prison too long.
We should look at information though, specifically for like someone that goes into jail at 16 and then they're in there for life.
Mm-hmm. See how life.
And then
if they're in there for life, then they never get back out.
Yeah, they never
right?
get back out. But like if someone's in there for life and then they do get a parole after 30 years or 45 years or whatever, because there are cases like that.
Mm-hmm.
We should try to figure out like the statistics or like the ratios on that. I would be interested to know that and talk about it. I think it would be interesting.
I completely agree.
And then we can get off of our rants and end this episode now.
All right. Well, on that note,
don't go to jail, folks.
because evidently, according to Kristen, you'll never make it back out.
You won't. Sorry. My mind is very one way on specific things.
You are not allowed back into the club. You are no longer cool.
You go to jail at 16. If you go to jail at 16, you should stay in jail at 16
Why?
for murdering somebody.
Oh my goodness.
For stabbing your friend 58 times. I don't think that you deserve to have a life outside of prison. I don't think that.
All right.
I don't care if you become a freaking nun in jail.
Okay. I hear you.
You can get forgiveness on the other side when you get out of prison.
Lord.
Is that too harsh?
Forgive us and her.
Is that too
she
harsh?
does not know
I'm sorry.
that people can be redeemed. Amen.
All right, guys, we're going to end now. If you like this episode or have something to say or have some random tidbits, information that you want to drop or fun facts you want to share with us about the rants that we were going on, let us know. Please hit that like and subscribe. We do appreciate your support. And as always, we are here every Thursday. Please join us in the premieres.
And we'll see you then.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
From truth or lies, we'll call it out. They whisper gossip, but we shout. Pop culture queens and headphones clear.